He's young, he's immature, and he's arrogant. The kid can hoop, he belongs in the NBA, but this is the stuff he does that annoys a coaching staff, that annoys his teammates.
Oh, can you imagine?
This is the frustrating stuff.
Jordan Poole's season isn't just bad, it perfectly reflects how fast the NBA can turn on you. Back in 2022, he was the Warriors' breakout star, the third Splash brother lighting up a championship run. Now, even after a fresh start in New Orleans, the numbers look the same. 17 a night on 35% shooting, the same wild decisions in a different jersey. From playoff hero to punchline. How did Jordan Poole fall this far this fast? Since signing his $140 million extension, Poole has gone from trusted scorer to turnover machine. His shot selection, his defense, his decision-making. Everything fell apart at once. Zero discipline, endless bad shots, constant confusion. Few players have fallen harder or faster because Poole's story isn't just about one rough year. It's about what happens when confidence turns into chaos. So the question isn't just what happened to Jordan Poole, it's how does a player this talented lose control of his own game, and can he ever get it back? At one point, Jordan Poole was supposed to be the Warriors' future, a young, dynamic scorer, groomed to take over once Stephen Curry's prime began to fade. But by the end of the 2023-24 season, he'd become something else entirely. One of the most overvalued guards in the NBA. Poole's $140 million contract was meant to lock in a franchise cornerstone. Instead, it aged into one of the league's most criticized deals, a massive investment tied to minimal return. He finished this year shooting under 42% from the field with an assist-to-turnover ratio among the bottom third of all starting guards. His usage stayed high, but his efficiency collapsed. Every trip down the floor felt like a gamble, and most ended badly. Among the players once compared to him, Tyler Hero, Jordan Clarkson, Jalen Green, Poole now stands out for all the wrong reasons. Where others evolved, he stagnated. When they found rhythm, he forced chaos. And in a league obsessed with value, that gap between price and production defines his reputation. He's not just struggling anymore, he's actively sabotaging possessions. Former NBA forward Chandler Parsons said it best.
He's young, he's immature, and he's arrogant. The kid can hoop, he belongs in the NBA, but this is the stuff he does that annoys a coaching staff, that annoys his teammates.
Oh, can you imagine?
This is the frustrating stuff.
But it wasn't always this way. In 2022, fresh off a title, Golden State believed its future had a name, Jordan Poole. Fresh off a championship, the Warriors saw in Poole a player who could extend their dynasty beyond the Splash Brothers. There was a confidence in him that was impossible to ignore. The deep threes, the slick handles, the quick bursts that could flip a game in seconds. Early on, he looked like the heir to Curry, fearless, fluid, and completely unbothered by the moment. And to be fair, he was electric. His scoring runs came in waves, his swagger contagious. Fans even gave it a name, the Poole Party. When the lights were bright and the crowd loud, he thrived. Yet, even then, there were warning signs. Questions about consistency, decision-making, and defense followed him from the start. Small cracks that would eventually split open. At the time, though, no one cared. The future looked bright, the confidence endless, and every night felt like a new mixtape. At his best, Jordan Poole could ignite a run in seconds, a quick step back, a daring cut, a pull-up that froze defenders. There was rhythm to his game, movement that felt instinctive, almost musical. When it clicked, the Warriors' offense flowed through him like a spark through wire. But that same rhythm eventually turned into noise. Now, he stops the ball too often, over-dribbles, and hunts early threes that stall possessions before they start. Where Curry turns chaos into geometry, Poole turns it into guesswork. He tries to mimic the formula, the footwork, the range, the flair, but without Curry's patience, it unravels. What once looked like confidence now reads as compulsion. Mixtapes online still make it look electric, but in context, those same plays bleed momentum and frustrate teammates. Defensively, the issues mirror the offense. He misses rotations, loses his man in screens, and gives up open looks that swing games. What used to be creative is now predictability, flair without focus, risk without reward. Examining his first season after leaving Golden State, Jordan Poole's efficiency plummeted. His true shooting percentage dropped from 57.3% with the Warriors to just 52.9% in Washington, one of the sharpest declines among high-usage guards that year. The advanced numbers backed it up. Poole finished with a negative box plus-minus and ranked at the bottom of the league in plus-minus, a sign that his minutes were doing more harm than good. Simply put, the Wizards played worse when he was on the floor. However, the following season brought what looked like a turnaround. Poole bounced back on paper, his best true shooting yet, and over 20 points a night. But the comeback was cosmetic. Washington finished 18-64, proof that efficiency without purpose doesn't win games. Defensively, nothing changed. A 120 defensive rating and the same negative impact underscored the problem: effort without results. The story stays the same: a collapse, a rebound, and no real progress. The numbers improved, but the basketball didn't. But numbers can only tell half the story. What really changed was the player himself. Lately, Poole looks like a man grappling with confidence, hesitant in situations that once came naturally. On the court, he second-guesses open shots and overthinks routine reads. Every possession seems to carry extra weight, and that pressure shows in his posture. Tight shoulders, eyes down after mistakes, a visible frustration that lingers between plays. It's reasonable to think that some of this traces back to the Draymond Green incident and the constant media scrutiny that followed. Those moments turned highlight plays into opportunities for mockery, and the noise never fully faded. While impossible to measure, the mental toll is evident. Poole plays like someone trying to prove a point instead of just playing basketball. Yet, the ability is still there: the quick handle, the range, the flair that once made him electric. He just needs structure, the right coach, the right system, and the freedom to rebuild trust in his own game. In challenging environments, focus is everything. If he can quiet the noise and rediscover his rhythm, his best days don't have to be behind him. In many ways, Jordan Poole has become the embodiment of Golden State's and later Washington's organizational missteps. Not because he lacks talent, but because each franchise placed him in a role he was never built to handle. At a time when both teams were redefining themselves, Poole became a reflection of their own confusion. Golden State handed him a $140 million contract, then exiled him from the culture that made him thrive, an unmistakable sign of poor planning. In Washington, he was promoted from spark plug to franchise centerpiece on a roster with no structure, no veteran anchors, and no clear identity. The results were predictable: bottom 5 in defense, near the top in turnovers, and a locker room searching for direction. Every inefficient possession, every missed rotation wasn't just on Poole, it was a product of the environment. He became the symbol of a broader failure in vision, organizations expecting leadership without offering stability. Poole's story isn't just about a player losing his way, it's about how mismanagement can turn potential into disappointment. Poole's struggles don't exist in isolation. He's part of a new generation of scorers, flashy, fearless, but often inefficient. Players like Hero, Clarkson, and Jalen Green can light up highlights yet struggle to win consistently. The league itself is shifting. Front offices now value spacing, decision-making, and pick-and-roll precision over raw flair. The era of pure spectacle is fading. The era of control has arrived. Poole's game, high volume, ISO-heavy, and improvisational, feels like a relic from the mixtape years when flair could hide flaws. Guards like Brunson and Halliburton show what wins now: efficiency, pace, and discipline. Across the NBA, organizations are becoming more calculated. They're no longer paying for highlights, they're paying for habits. Viewed this way, Poole's decline isn't just personal, it reflects where the sport is heading. The modern game rewards structure, not spectacle, and if Poole wants to survive it, he'll have to evolve. In another system, Jordan Poole might have thrived. He was a key part of a Warriors team that won a championship and once looked like the next generation of Golden State's dynasty. At just 26, he still has time to reshape his story. Talent alone won't save him, but paired with the right structure and mindset, there's still a path forward. His redemption starts with the basics: smarter decisions, cleaner shots, and genuine defensive effort. They aren't glamorous fixes, but they're the difference between a highlight player and a winning one. A team like the Pelicans could be that reset. In a culture built on accountability and system-driven basketball, Poole could rediscover the rhythm and confidence that made him special. There, he won't have to lead by default, only play within the system that suits him best. But nothing is guaranteed. The league moves fast and patience is short. If Poole can match his talent with discipline and humility, he can still rewrite the narrative. If not, the league will move on without him. His game doesn't need a rebuild, it needs a compass. There's still hope, but it will take commitment from both the player and the system around him. So, can Jordan Poole ever live up to the hype? We've seen flashes of brilliance and moments of real promise, but also a trail of frustration, mistakes, and missed chances. Now it's up to him and the system around him to decide what comes next. Share your take in the comments. Can he turn it around, or has the league already moved on? Meanwhile, down in San Antonio, the Spurs are proving what patience and structure can actually build. Find out why they're way better than you think this season. The blueprint Poole wishes he had. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.